What's up guys, Josh and Michael here from Mixing Mango.
Yeah, hey guys, so today we have the much waited for RuneScape EOC Bandos guide solo and duo, which is really cool.
Yep, so a quick thing to note before we get into it. We're going to show a lot of setups in the video, but I will say the setups we show are kind of the minimum gear, so I wouldn't advise doing it with less really. You could probably give it a go, but if you've got higher gear, so if you're rocking like Torva or whatever, you got Drygors, then that will be perfectly fine. Like obviously you'll do a lot better than what we show in the video. So this is kind of just the minimum requirements of setup you're going to want.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's get into the requirements.
So for the first thing you need is the requirements section. So to access the God Wars dungeon you need 60 strength or 60 agility. 60 strength is obviously easier, but agility is handy. And you will need to have done the Troll Stronghold quest.
Yep, and in terms of Bandos, you will require 70 strength to actually get into the room.
Yeah.
So it makes sense just to go for the 60 strength option to get into God Wars as well.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so for recommended levels, you're gonna want 80/90 melee stats. 80 is for duoing and 90 I'd say is for soloing. If you're gonna go in trios or even bigger teams, the guide's not aimed at that, but you can get away with lower melee stats, but I would say 80 or 90 is a good place to be. 75 magic is for Ganodermic, because some of the setups require that. If you're not using Ganodermic, then you probably just stick at 70, and 70 range is just to get a little bit of range defense. I know it doesn't do too much in the EOC, but it's always nice to have.
Yeah, also you'll want 67 plus summoning. If you are duoing, I suppose you can use the Spirit Terror Bird, but for effective kills you're going to want at least a War Taunt. Obviously if you're going for the solo, 67 plus is pretty much essential. You'll need the War Taunt and or Pack Yak, and then if you've got the Unicorn, that's really good as well. Also you'll need 70 or between 70 and 95 prayer. 70 is good. If you've got 70, just stay on the normal prayer book, and you need it because, well, you can bless people's graves and also use protect from melee, range and magic. But however, if you've got 95 prayer and if you're able to get 95 prayer, this is really good for soloing because you can use Soul Split and or Turmoil. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Also, it's not essential, but it is nice to have 88 plus Herblore, so you can either use Extremes or Overloads because they are obviously better than just the supersets of attack, defense and strength. So yeah, that's not essential, but it is nice to have. So next you're going to need for the solo setup, for your helmet, your body, your legs and your boots and your gloves, you can either go for the Ganodermic or the Bandos. Now Ganodermic does give you the larger like HP, but Bandos gives a better like attack output and just makes better hits really. But it's up to you really which one you want to go for. And for the weapon, you're going to want to use the Chaotic Maul, which is the best two-handed weapon in the game and is just generally amazing. And or a God Sword. Now, some people don't have the 80 dunge, so a God Sword is really effective as well, especially when the Zadrin God Sword gives you health, so I can incorporate with Soul Split to give you quite a lot of health back.
And as for the aura, you're going to want Penance or Vampirism. Penance gives you prayer points for all the damage you take, and Vampirism heals you for damage you give, so they're both very useful. Capes, skill capes are the best capes in the game, aside from obviously your comp capes and max cape and all that. So you want to rock a skill cape really, or you've got the Tokar Cow or the fire cape, which aren't as good. They're only melee capes, but they're still pretty decent. Or the Obby cape, which is the last choice, which is a lower level setup really. Amulets, you're going to want a Fury or Glory. You could go with the Saradomin's Whisper, but for a slightly lower cost choice you want a Glory, or for the extra crit you want a Fury. Ring, Warrior Ring, that's the best. Berserker Ring is quite decent really, and Tokuzo, if you don't have the money for the first two, then I would go with that. And ammo, obviously you're not ranging, but if you use a Zamorak arrow, then all the Zamorak monsters will be unaggressive to you while getting kill counts, so that's quite useful. And a final thing for the solo is you're gonna want 95 prayer for this setup. While you can do it with just protect from melee, Soul Split and Turmoil help immensely on this, and you'll be able to stay a lot longer if you solo with Soul Split. So I would recommend 95 prayer, and you're looking at a high level setup for solo, so you're going to want your War Torts and possibly extremes, but supersets will do fine as well. So the second setup is a duo setup. This is a tanking duo, so the tank is going to want full Ganodermic, an Aram's Wand, and a Spectral or an Arcane Spirit Shield. Arcane is the best choice because you have the damage soaking, but a Spectral will do perfectly fine. So obviously you're going to be maging with this setup, and you've got high defense and high life points from the Gano and the shield, so basically you're not going to take any damage really, but your damage output will be quite low, so you're purely there to take damage rather than actually do damage. Aura, Penance or Vampirism, Cape, Skill Cape, probably the best choice there. Amulet, Fury or Glory, or you could use the Saradomin Mage Amulet. Ring, a Seer's Ring would be the best, Berserker Ring second, and Tokuzo is the third if you can't afford those two. And again, Zamorak Arrow, so you don't get attacked by Zamorak minions. As for actual spells, just use the best spell you can really, or using a blood spell on the ancient spellbook would help because you can heal back, but as I said, you'll take 500 damage max really in this setup, so there's no real need for extra healing.
And yeah, and for the tank duo, for the attacker you're going to want to get good damage going, because obviously you're not actually getting hit by General Ghidorah. So you're going to want for your helmet, body, legs, boots and gloves full Bandos or full Void, or apart from the boots, and that is just because it just gets a lot of damage. For your weapon, you're going to want to use the Chaotic Maul or a God Sword, preferably an Armadillo or a Zaradomin God Sword, because the other two aren't so good, but the Chaotic Maul is the good choice. And now with Dungeoneering not being that hard to level up, the Chaotic Maul is actually quite good to get, and it is really useful. For your aura, you're going to want Penance on Vampirism. Penance just so you can get your prayer back, although when you're attacking you don't get your prayer back as much when you're using Penance, but it is still nice to have, and Vampirism helps a lot as well. For your cape, it is the same as most of the other setups. You're going to want your skill cape as your first choice, but you can also use the Tokar Cowl, the fire cape, or the Obi cape. For your amulet, you're going to want a Fury or a Glory, just because basically these are some good amulets, but also you can have Zaradomin's Whisper, I believe, because that's also a good melee amulet. For your ring, you're going to want the Warrior Ring, Berserker Ring or the Tokuzo. Like I said before, Tokuzo isn't as good as the other two, but it is if you don't have that much money. And once again, also you will want the Zamorak Arrow for the kill count, so that the Zamorak minions do not attack you.
And finally, for prayers, the tanker can it's probably best just to use Protect from melee. Soul Split isn't really needed because there's barely any damage taken, and the attacker can use Soul Split because he's not really going to get hit, so, or he can just pray nothing overhead and just use Turmoil. It really doesn't matter, so you can decide on that one. Okay, so the next setup is the damage per second setup. This is a duo setup for really fast kills. You are going to take a bit more damage than a tanking setup, but you're going to do a lot of damage to General Ghidorah and his minions, so there'll be good kill speeds. So you're going to want full Bandos or full Void to get very good speeds, and also you have quite good defensive bandos. And you're also going to want a Chaotic Maul, as it's the best two-handed in the game, or you can use a God Sword. That's a very good second choice, and I would go for an Armadile or Saradomin God Sword.
And also for your aura, you need Penance and or Vampirism. Penance is really good here because you get hit more, because you're not really using a tanker's setup. You are getting a lot of prayer back during the kill, and you will go close to full prayer even when using Soul Split and Turmoil. Vampirism is also helpful because obviously it heals you as well. And for your capes, you're going to want to use the skill cape or comp cape, whatever you've got. They're the best capes. And then there's obviously the Tokar Cow, the Fire Cape and the Obby Cape, which are good capes but aren't as good. For your amulet, you're going to want to use the Fury or the Glory. The Glory is a good amulet and is cheap, but obviously the Fury is obviously just a bit better. For your ring, you're going to want the Warrior Ring or the Berserker Ring. Those are the two better rings, but you can use the Tokulzo if you want, which isn't obviously as pricey. For your ammo, you're going to want your Zamrak arrow as before for the kill count. And also for prayer, you're going to want to either pray melee, I suppose, if you're getting tanked while using this, and or like range or mage if you're not, or you're just attacking the thing. But you can also use Soul Split or Turmoil. It's really up to you, and just see how it goes, and just preferences really.
And the final setup is the tank DPS setup. This is probably the best balance out of all the setups. You've got a tanker, but also very good damage per second as well. So the tanker will be using full Ganodermic for the high life points and high defense, and this time he's using a Chaotic Maul rather than a shield and magic setup. So you want Chaotic Maul because obviously it's the best, or a God Sword, as it's a very good second choice. Aura is the same, Penance or Vampirism. Capes, as you'll be using melee, you're going to want a skill cape or the melee cape, so Tokar Cow, Fire Cape or Obby Cape. Amulet, Glory or Fury if you have the money, and again you can upgrade to Saradomin's Whisper if you really want to. Ring, Warrior Ring is the best, Berserker Ring second best, and Tokulzo if you don't have the money, and a Zamrak arrow as the ammo, so that will help with kill counts, you don't get attacked.
Now what you're going to need for the attacker DPS, this is basically you're just going for the big damage. So for the helmet, the body, the legs, boots and gloves, you're going to want either Bandos or Void, apart from the boots. This is just really good armors, both of them, and they are really good damage per second. The weapon you're going to need is the Chaotic Maul or a God Sword, because God Swords are good as well, preferably an Armadillo or a Saradomin. For the auras, you're going to need the Penance or Vampirisms like before, they help with prayer and health. For the cape, you're going to want to go for the skill cape. Tokar Cow, Fire Cape and Obby Cape are good as well, but the skill capes are the best now in the game. For the amulets, you can use the Fury or the Glory. Obviously the Glory is a lot less, it's a lot cheaper than the Fury, but it is not as good obviously. For the rings, you're going to want either the Warrior Ring, the Berserker Ring, or the Tokulzo. The Tokulzo isn't obviously as good as the other two, but if you don't have the money, then it is a good, cheap alternative. And for the ammo, you're going to want your Zamrak arrow for your kill count, which will make it a lot easier. Also, when you're praying, you're going to either want to pray when you're the attacker, protects from range or magic, because you won't actually be getting hit by Bandos, and you've got such high melee defense you won't really need it. But you can also Soul Split as well to get your health back, but that isn't really hugely necessary.
Okay, so that is all the setups we have. So now we'll just get into some actual footage of Bandos kills. This is going to be a mixture of solo and duo kills. So you can just watch that and sort of get an idea of how to sort of do it. So do you want to just go over kill count for a bit?
Oh yeah, so basically kill count is pretty simple. You need to, there's no point really using your pots yet or your prayer yet really. You can just kill the goblins, which are level 120, and also the jogers, which are combat level 124, and that will make the the kill count really quite simple and quick, and also just really effective. That's pretty much all there is to the kill count, really.
Yeah, so once you've got your 40 kill count, you're gonna wanna like prepare outside the Bandos room.
True.
So you don't need 40 kill count to get into the stronghold. So just to be clear on that, you can get kill count inside the stronghold if you really want to, but
it's a lot better outside.
It's probably best to get it outside. But yeah, so once you've got it, just go outside the room, obviously hop worlds if you need to, and then pot up, use your supersets or extremes,
turn on penance.
Yep, auras, prayer renewal, and put insight on if you're tanking. Then I would set your quick prayers as well. That's definitely very useful.
True.
So you can just click on the prayer icon, and then go in the room. Obviously the tank goes first if you are using a tanking setup, and yeah, the kills are quite simple from there, really. So just keep using abilities, and you can use defensive abilities as well if you need to. I think rejuvenate, what are some other ones?
Regenerate.
Were they? Regenerate, yeah. Resonance, or I think reflect,
yeah,
maybe you could use. And that's mostly it, really. Just at the end of the kill, the first kill, you can use the altar.
Yeah, true. Altar is really important.
Get prayer back if you need to. Yeah, and that's every 10 minutes you can use the altar, so if you do need prayer, just go back to that. So I think that's pretty much it. If you don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, and also it is important to note that it is for the altar, it's actually 10 minutes in game, but for things like penance, if you do log out, it actually does wear out. So if you log out, let's say you start using your penance for 20 minutes and you log out for 40 minutes, when you come back it would have actually gone. So bear that in mind when you're bringing prayer pots, because they are quite useful. You do need quite a few.
Yeah, that's true, but I think that's really all there is to say.
Yeah, true.
That has been the Bandos guide. The kills are fairly simple, to be honest, so if you just if you look how we're doing it in the video as well, you should be able to see.
Yeah, there's no particular guide to it. You don't need to run around the room or run away from him in phases like necks and stuff. It's pretty simple. You just stand there and you just kill him, really. Just rack up the abilities and just get quick kills.
Yep, and actually, yeah, if we just add, you probably won't have a chance to use ultimates, so maybe just stick with thresholds. But then again, if you don't need to heal, you can use an ultimate instead of using regenerate at the end of the kill.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see some more God Wars guides, or maybe for other bosses we'll have a look at, just give it a like and leave some comments as well.
Yeah,
about that.
Love your feedback, guys.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you all later.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Bye.